So it is the end of the first week in March, and boy, this year is flying by, and our market is as hot as ever. So what's going on in the market right now? Well, this is the Glastonbury market, and I think Glastonbury is always going to be a perennial favorite. I mean, how can it not be? We have a charming town, an excellent school system, and people really love our town and really want to live here. We just don't have anything to sell them right now. We currently have 40 houses on the market, and those are pretty much the same houses that have been on the market all along. We have some new properties that have hit, and we've had properties come off the market. In fact, we have 60 homes under contract right now. And did you know that there is one price point that's starving for inventory? In the last 60 days, there have only been 6 houses that have closed between $550,000 and $650,000. So if you have a home and you're in that price point, boy, I think if you list, you are going to clean up as a seller. There is really big buyer demand. So I look back at the market in the past 5 months, and the average price point is creeping up. We are now at about $461,000 for our average price point of our home. And that's great because it's going to go across all of the market in terms of all the different price points are seeing an uptick in their values, and we are definitely having an appreciation situation going on here in Glastonbury. Again, the name of the game is low inventory, and if you're a seller, unlocking that inventory. If you have rented your home or you weren't able to sell it in the past, you really need to think about doing it now because you have buyer demand like crazy, and we still have really great interest rates. They did tweak up a little bit at the 3%, and I talked about that a little bit last week, that we are going to see that, and that's a sign of a really healthy economy when our interest rates do go up. But the buyer's ability to still have a great mortgage payment and a lower mortgage payment is still really there. So there's really still that desirability on that buyer's part to capture that low interest rate. So that's our update for this week. I look forward to doing this again with you next week, and stay tuned for my Realtor of the Week question. Last year, many homeowners thought twice about selling their houses due to the onset of the health crisis. This year, however, we're starting to see a more optimistic outlook on our market, and we're seeing more sellers willing to discuss listing their homes for sale. But the big question is, when do they list? In normal times, spring is our busiest season. Yet, we're not really in normal times as the pandemic is very much still upon us. As long as we don't have the gripping cold of the polar vortex like we did years before, I think we're going to have a really great market this year. And considering the last 2 years, we had a warm winter, meaning it wasn't really snowy and it was kind of warm, and I would say it was in the 40s to 50s, here and there during March. We started seeing a lot more sellers wanting to put their house on the market. But then COVID happened last year, and kind of the whole rule book went out the window. So the big question is, this year, when or if will we have a spring market? Well, the answer to that question is we have to. There is such little inventory on the market, and there's so many buyers that if you were a seller and you were thinking about selling your home, and maybe your home was less than ideal, or you tried to sell it years ago and you couldn't, now might be the best time for you to get the most amount of money for your home that you could have obtained in prior years. Buyers are willing to overlook little things like outdated kitchen. It's not so little, but that's what I mean. They are willing to overlook that. And they're willing to overlook maybe not a really great backyard or an up driveway, and maybe there's some painting or some other updating that needs to happen to the house. You might be in a position as a seller to put that house on the market and get top dollar for it because we have such little inventory. So really think about unlocking that inventory and getting it on the market. And if you're curious about what your home's worth, let's connect. You can follow me on my Instagram at Linda Edowich Realtor, or reach out to me at agentsonmain.com, or my cell phone at 860-818-3610, and I would love to connect with you.